Okay. Everybody's happy today?
Yep. Yep.
Everybody's happy? You're happy? You're happy?
I have a long cumulative test.
A long cumulative test?
Yeah.
That's why they gave you 2 days to do it.
They gave us 2
Welcome,
days.
everybody. They did. Monday and Tuesday.
Hi, everybody. Unicorn of the week. Hi.
Did you get it out of your system now?
Hug.
Go ahead and put her away.
Have a happy unicorn day.
Yes.
Hi,
Well,
everybody.
welcome. It's Friday. Ah, you got my hair.
Friday.
It's Friday. We're so excited. We like...
Friday, yay.
Go put your stuff away. We really like Friday. Matter of fact, what we like better than Friday is the end of Friday, because that is the beginning of our week where we full on just take a break.
It's the beginning of our movie week.
Our movie
playing
week,
game
movie weekend.
Oh,
Ooh, tonight we're gonna go out and take the telescope out. We're gonna go look at the stars.
can I-
See if we can find that comet. There's a comet out there right now.
I'm gonna take one of my dolls and go do a photo shoot.
There you go. What?
Maybe we can show them the photos.
That'd be fun.
Can I not keep them here because we're going to be working?
We're gonna be soldering today. Yep.
Okay, then.
We are gonna be soldering.
Sorry about Friday.
I know. Sherry, Friday is the best day for sure. You know, especially since we've started to do this whole homeschooling thing, I have just decided there's no homework on the weekend. We're totally taking a break. No homework. We don't do anything on the computer. We're done. We're just done. We're done.
Dad's watching.
So, thanks, Sue Ellen. All right, so Mother's Day is this weekend, and how it completely and utterly snuck up on me again, I have no clue, but it did, and it's 2 days away. And what have I done for my mother and my mother-in-law? Zero. Yes.
If you're a mom, you get 10 more hugs.
10 more hugs for those that are moms. Well, what if they're not a mom, but they wanted to be a mom? Or what if they never wanted to be a mom, but...
They still get
What if
hugs.
they're
they still get
dad?
hugs? Yeah, what if they're dad?
Then they get hugged on Father's Day.
You have to wait till Father's Day. Okay, so
I know something we could do for
They get a
Grandma.
hug anyway.
good.
I know something
Okay.
we could do for Grandma. Does Grandma ever watch your videos?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Okay, so
Nor does Grandma often wear any of the jewelry I make. But today, I was thinking we could make kind of a special one.
I know something we could do for her.
What could you do?
Get her flowers and chocolate.
Flowers and chocolate. No, because that means we have to go to the store, and I don't want to go to the store.
But you have to get stuff.
I do have to go to the store, but I don't want to. I don't want to right now, and I only want to go to one store. I want to go to the grocery store and get out. That's all I want to do. Okay.
Sometimes they have flowers there.
Okay, but here's what I'm thinking. We can do this a couple of different ways. I was thinking we can make a pendant for Grandma.
What's your
and
favorite color?
we can put in your birthstones. It's a grandma's pendant. Grandma has how many grandchildren?
A lot.
No, not too many. How many does Auntie have?
3.
Auntie has 3. How many babies have I had?
3.
What?
4.
No.
4.
One sadly died.
So 7. So I think
One sadly
what we can do, yes, 1 died. It was sad, huh? You
I never
didn't-
got to meet her.
Met her? No.
I never got to meet her.
You did not get to meet her, nor did Kate. Riley was the only one that got to meet her. All right.
special.
She is special. But so we want to make sure we include her, right? So
What's her birthstone? Is it the same?
it's the same as your birthstone. What?
What's her birthstone? Grandma's.
Grandma's birthstone is hers is a garnet,
What color is that?
red.
Maybe we should add.
Well, we're gonna have some red anyway because we have 2 July birthdays, which are ruby.
we should
So
add one
I was
red,
thinking what we can do.
2 blues,
Listen.
one pink.
You're not listening.
All of our birthdays.
You're not listening.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, I
So
want to stay on task today.
good. I want you to stay
And
on
if I
task.
do, can I get a coin?
Only if you stay on task.
They're plastic.
So just a reminder to those of you guys who are joining us here on the videos. A lot of you guys are kind of our regulars, and we appreciate that. Those of you guys that are our regulars understand that this whole video series is me teaching the girls. And I'm great. I cannot even talk.
Can I say one last thing?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
I am glad and grateful that you guys are here, But you may find it a bit distracting because I am not going to be focusing my attention on you as the viewer, but on these two as the two that I am teaching and they are the ones that are learning. And you guys get to kind of come along for the ride. So I know it's a little distracting. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. If it's not your cup of tea, there's about 230 other videos on my YouTube channel that you may enjoy a little bit better. Cup of tea?
Bad for you.
No, I drink tea. I drink herbal tea.
A certain type of tea is good.
Yeah, but a lot of people drink tea. We just
I
don't.
don't like tea.
I know, it's a little bit different,
Elena
huh?
eats tea, or eats tea.
Bobby just gave you hugs from Tucson.
Thank you. Elena has.
I know, it's okay. So what I'm thinking we can do is we can kind of start to put together some of the skills that you guys, leave my hammer alone. Some of you guys, or we're gonna put together the skills that you guys have been learning. So I think what we ought to do is make a pendant that is round, and inside of it I will make some swirls, and you guys, we can solder those into place, and then we can solder in some tube settings that will hold each of the birthstones. What do you think?
Okay.
Do you like that idea, Carrie?
Actually, now that I think of it, we should
Maybe
make.
not.
We should make it maybe a locket.
Nope, not today. A locket is a project that is complex and advanced for me. That's like way beyond
Okay then.
what we're doing with you guys. Way beyond.
Like we shouldn't not a locket, but we should make like a heart that's like a nice heart, and then put these on it.
So we can make a heart pendant, and then we can solder in the decorative elements on the inside.
I used to make my hearts like these for some reason.
I know.
It looks like an upside down butterfly or an apple.
It does kind of look like a butterfly or an apple. Very
An
smart.
upside down apple.
So what do you think? A round one or a heart one?
This is how I.
Okay, so Kate, I know what millimeter this is, but you tell me what millimeter our wire is and see if you know what the gauge is. Don't look at the bag. That's cheating. So, because, you know what, and I think too, so next week, and actually the next couple of weeks, thank you. We'll talk a little bit about how we store things. We'll talk about some different tools, how to use them properly, how to care for them properly, and then also how to take care of things. What's that? So it's 1.6 millimeters, okay? What gauge is that, do you know? So, and is 1.6 millimeters thicker than what we've been using or thinner than what we've been using?
Thicker.
It's thicker. So up to now we've used 1.3. Now 1.3 was 16 gauge. What do you think 1.6 is?
Don't know.
Take a guess. If 18 gauge was 1 millimeter, 1.3 was 16 gauge, what do you think 1.6 millimeters is? I'll give you another one. 0.8 millimeters is 20 gauge. So 0.8 is 20, 1 is 18, 1.3 is 16, 1.6 is 14 gauge.
Okay.
So we're getting thicker.
You want me to show?
Sure. So this is kind of what I do on my bags, and I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I will put like what their millimeter is, what their millimeter is, as well as what gauge it is. I always keep them in plastic bags. Do you guys know why I keep my wire in plastic bags?
So, if it gets wet or anything, it'll be safe in the bag. Or actually, it's to make it so it doesn't get rusty.
Tarnished.
Or scratched.
Tarnished.
What's tarnished?
Tarnished is when it starts to go kind of black and looks gungy and yucky.
Oh,
So this is not going to rust. This is silver. Silver's not going to rust.
you put it in the bag so that doesn't happen. And if it does happen, that's it. Yeah. If
All
it
right.
does happen, you can use the green.
Are we doing a circle or are we doing a heart? You want to do a heart? Okay. Hearts are a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. All right.
I wanna try.
So what we're going to do is I'm just going to trim off an arbitrary amount. So I think I've got about 6 inches or more here. Yeah, it's about 6 inches, a little bit more than that. So we'll start with this and then we'll probably cut it down. Grandma doesn't like to wear things that are too big. And then what I'm gonna do is I put my wire back in here, because if I solder anything on the inside, I'm actually gonna step it down a little bit so that my frame is thicker, but then my inside is going to be a bit thinner. All right?
What happened to, is that silver? I think it's silver, right?
What is silver?
The wire?
Yes, it is sterling silver that we're using.
Could sterling, so if, what would happen
Put our
to
little settings over
sterling
here.
silver if it gets moist?
Good question. So in a lot of cases, nothing will really happen if it gets wet or
What happens
anything
if
like that.
it gets way too wet, like soaked?
Well, I can soak it in water and it won't do anything. So really it's when the oxygen and oils from people's skin that will change it. So have you ever noticed when Riley wears sterling silver, what happens? Do you know what color it goes when Riley wears silver?
Kind of like a black.
Oh yeah, hers goes black. Riley has something in her body, whether it's what she's eating or whatever, but her body chemistry will turn silver black just like that. Like it goes
after
black.
1 second. Just
It only takes a couple of hours. Yep, it only takes a couple of hours for Riley, and hers is
A
black.
little more than 6 inches.
Okay, a little more than 6
Is there
inches.
something else bad that could happen to it besides that oil stuff? Like
Yeah,
that could
I mean,
ruin
it
and break it.
well, as far as breaking it goes.
If you freeze it and then you snap it, it'll break.
No, it's a lot hardier than that, luckily. So thank goodness. That's a good question. We'll have to do some research on that. We'll have to look into that. Okay, so let's see which camera is going to be best. Let's come
I know
over
something.
to this camera. What?
Well, I want to ask something.
Okay.
Is this is that what we used that was in that naughty pile thing?
In the naughty pile?
Like
what?
when I was making balls.
Oh, maybe.
Is that what it was made out of? Some of the things?
It can be. It can be. So, all right, here, what I'm going to do is I've got a pair of pliers here. And these have a really big circle on those. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and wrap it around that circle. Whoops, okay, keep it here on the big one. Right, just like that. Now, I think if this is the halfway point, I think that's too big. I don't think Grandma, I don't know, she might. Ouch.
Sorry.
Dude, you keep kicking me.
That's because my foot's on the chair and then it slips.
I'm actually going to cut this down just a little bit. Hello? Who are you helloing? Helloing to Glenda. Hello, Glenda.
Halloween now? No,
Hello?
I'm saying that. Hello, everybody, and thank you for the unicorns and hearts and puppies and everything.
Yes, thank you for everything, huh?
Thank
Okay.
you for watching our live videos, too.
Heck yeah. What do we want them to do on our YouTube channel?
Like and subscribe.
Share, subscribe. Make sure to give us thumbs up on the thing down below the video.
Yes. Okay, so here we kind of have the beginning. I think this one needs to actually turn in just a little bit more.
And subscribe.
Okay, so here we're pretty even
Did I say that?
with these two. You did. We definitely want them to subscribe, don't we?
I guess I said it twice then.
That's okay. It sets it in and says, yes, please subscribe, huh?
Well, they could probably forget like me.
They could
Like if
forget.
they're like, make sure to subscribe, start talking.
Okay, so see how I've got this? Oh, I can't do this with my camera right there. So I've got to pull this off here so that I can hold this. So what I'm going to do is here's kind of my halfway point. And I'm going to put my pliers just off of that halfway point.
I think I know.
Look at that.
Whoa.
What do you think?
That's what I was thinking.
You like that?
I was thinking that you were going to do like that. Like make it pointy like by pulling it or
Yeah.
squeezing it.
Okay, so what we need
It
to
overlaps.
do, it does overlap, but I think, because this is still kind of big for Grandma, like I said, she doesn't really wear big
I
jewelry.
think she would like something like this, maybe.
You think like that? You got to keep it on the camera, sweetie, or else they can't see what we're doing. So, okay, sorry, Kate. I think you are being bonked. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut these so that
They don't overlap each other or like go on top of each other or under each
Correct. Correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a marker. And, oh, this is the dumb marker. Where's our other marker?
Today, I think
This one's like halfway
I
dead.
think I'm really chatty.
There you go. Are you really chatty today?
I'm pretty sure.
You guys have a lot of energy today. I think we're all in a very good mood because we know that it's Friday. Yes, I think we know that. So,
Earlier
okay.
came out
So I'm going to cut this.
movie.
We're ready to go and play because it's Friday. We're ready to go outside.
I know you went out and on a bike ride already this morning. That was kind of fun, huh?
That one. Woo!
I know it did. It came in even though I was covering it up. Okay, so the
Make
next
sure
one
that doesn't happen sometimes though.
that I need to cut is this direction.
Like make sure it doesn't hit you, but if it hits your apron, then that's all right, right? Is that all right? If that happens, because I'm gonna put my safety glasses on.
That is so smart. You should totally have your safety glasses on. Good
Where's
job.
Kate's?
I've always got safety glasses.
Which one is yours?
Mine are either one or this one right here.
Why?
See, there you go.
I was
That's
asking
fine.
Kate.
Oh, yeah, Kate's already got glasses on, so
I've always got
it's not
safety
quite
glasses
as important for her. Okay, so now this wire this wire is very stiff. This was definitely not dead soft wire to begin with. What?
I think I know. Just
You
make
think
it
you know
a
what?
bit warm, maybe.
Right, you have to kind of warm it up a little bit.
Just make sure
but
you don't make it go black or a different color.
see, I think that this is actually good. So we've got a little bit of a lopsided heart, which I think is totally fine. I don't think that that's going to
Makes
be.
it look more homemade and not like made by machine.
There you go. I think that that's a good idea. So there goes that little piece, huh? All right, so now I need my files because on this there is a little part that.
Found it.
Oh, good.
Can I have your tweezers?
So there's just kind of this little burr that happened on here. This is really thick wire.
Here.
Yeah, thank you. So, and usually I do this at a bench pin. I just don't have it right here for this second. And I'm just trying to take off this little burr. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, Kate, will you please go make sure that that pickle is on and turn on the light so that we remember that it's on. What happens if we leave our pickle on overnight or something? What happens if we forget to turn off the pickle pot? Any ideas?
Bum, bum, bum. I think I know.
What?
It could get too hot and somehow, it could break the glass and then it could probably heat up the room and heat up the floor and make it catch on fire.
I need you to go
That's
get.
after a long time.
It could. Okay, perfect. Kiari, I need you to go get something to pull your hair back. I already have my clip here. You need to go get a clip or an elastic. Hurry fast.
Upstairs.
Go get it. Hurry. Okay, so we have our outline. The girls decided to do a heart on this. Everything lines up beautifully right here. So Kate, I am going to have you solder it. Okay, so let me grab your flux and everything. And you get to do this on your own today because I think you are ready. I think you've had enough practice and experience. Here's your quench water. Right, there's your quench. Here's your solder. Here are some tweezers. Here's a solder pick. All right, so you ready? Do you remember what to do first?
Yep.
No?
Yep.
Yep, you do. All right, I'm going to change our camera here. Let's see if we got you on here. Let's see, actually, let's go to that camera. I think that one might be a little bit better. Okay, so what do you need to do first? You got to say it louder. They can't hear quietness.
It's on.
Okay, and what is this?
The flux.
Yes, you're going to put on your flux. Good. Yeah, and you can flux the whole thing. We don't have to right now. You could, and it helps to kind of keep it so that it doesn't all get fire scale. Matter of fact, let me grab one other thing. Hang on, don't put any more on there. Let me show you something that we can use. Now there's actually a conversation that's happening quite a bit on Facebook right now, and it's talking about different types of fluxes. Now the flux that you have right there, and don't put that away because you're going to have to actually do it again. So there's a couple fluxes. The flux that you just put onto there is called a flow flux. Okay, and that helps your solder to flow. But there's also a barrier flux. Now, you remember how we talked a little bit about how things will kind of tarnish and oxidize when you are soldering them, right? So what we can do is we can put a barrier on this. So I'm going to take our little heart here, and I have a mixture of denatured alcohol and boric acid. It's not borax, it is boric acid. Now, what we are going to do with this, and let me switch our camera back down here, we're going to light it on fire. Now look, see, and I think it's really hard to see on the camera, and it was very, very quick. Okay, there was not much to it at all, and I'll do it again to show you. But
On fire.
yeah, it stays on fire for just a second, and what it's doing is it's drying that denatured alcohol and the boric acid. It does, and it puts this coating on it. So now we have a coating, okay, and that's going to help keep that oxidation at bay. Now it's important that you always close up your container. Okay, and mine, I just put it into a small glass container with a large lid on it, so it's easy to put things into that. Now, put your flux back on that, just on the join now. But what we've done now is we have protected our piece a little bit so that it doesn't oxidize as much. Okay? No, that's plenty. You don't need any more. Yeah, so close that up. And then let's get your solder. You close up that, I'll get your solder out. Okay, here's your solder piece, so you need to get it into position. Here's your tweezers. Stomp, 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 here she comes.
Really? I can tell.
Now, hold on, your hair is down. You need to have your hair back. You're usually really good. Come here.
Didn't want to go, like work like they're supposed to, because it's like this is the hair tie, and then it would stick out.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'll help you. Okay, so Kate, you got the solder into place? Or is it being really difficult?
Mm-hmm.
So another thing that you can do sometimes, and let's get your hair pulled back. Here you go, here's a clip. So sometimes what you can do, if it's being really difficult, and again, like I said, I don't like to set it on top like this, okay, because it will blow off.
Can I hit it with the torch?
Nope, Kate's doing this part. So, but if you take this and you stand it up just inside of there so it's touching, do you see that? Like it's standing up right there.
Yeah.
Okay, then it won't blow off as easily. Okay, so here's your torch. Got your solder pick ready. Here you go. Get your torch. Okay, your torch goes, yep, there you go.
What can I do?
Because it's Kate's, I'm having Kate do this part right now. Believe me, Kiara, you will have plenty of time to do stuff. So go ahead and always move your torch. Never hold your torch still when you're on a piece, ever. Why? It will melt things. So what you want to do is we need to warm up the entire piece. Okay, even though we're all the way, you know, our seam is going to be up here, you have to have the whole piece heated up. Why? No, not cause. Why? And you got to say it louder. Because you have to get that whole piece up to temperature in order for the solder to flow. Silver is so conductive with the heat. So see, it's not flowing yet, so we'll come back and warm up again, and then we concentrate here, and then we'll come around it again, and then warm it up here again. There it goes. Okay, and did you see it go into there beautifully? Is it the angle that I'm at? It's hard to see.
Wait.
Okay, that actually looks pretty good.
Can I put it in the water?
You want to quench it for me? You want to be the quench girl?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so that was really good. What I want you to do now, Kate, is I want you to go put that into the pickle, and we are going to start to work on the inside. Actually, let me do this really quick. So let's dry this off real fast. Scooch, scoochy, so I can get into here. Okay, let's move this stuff So that went really well. And Kate did that all by herself. Every bit of it. Good job, Kate.
No, you helped her a little bit.
Well, I held her hand with the torch to kind of guide it. You're right, I did help a little bit.
That doesn't mean...
But not much. Okay, what I'm going to do here...
Unicorn.
Yeah, we're going to use your unicorn paper. So what I'm going to do, so that I know how big to make the stuff that we're going to do, we're going to trace this out. Whoops.
That's the only problem I have with tracing stuff.
I know, it's always hard to trace that, isn't it? Because things move. Okay.
Ooh, I have an idea.
All right, now go put this into the pickle, please. Now, what we want to do is we are going to have 7 settings because there are 7 grandkids, right?
Do you want to have it on high or low?
On high is great.
Okay.
Please do not put water on this today. Okay, so what we need to do here is we are going to come up with a little bit of a design on the inside of this, and we can do wires, and I'll help, you know, we can do some swirls and stuff like that, because I think that that would be really pretty if we do some swirl designs. And then we will place all 7 of these within that heart. What do you think?
I think that's cool.
All right.
Can Lexi's and my birthstone be by each other?
We'll see.
Oh no, not Lexi, Kelsey.
Kelsey and you together?
Because they're blue.
We'll see what happens. I think we need to like maybe make everything kind of be everywhere. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll decide.
I'll do the, like the same ones next week.
So,
Can I have mine by Lexi's then?
look, they're telling you great job. All right, so just a quick question, or a couple questions on here. So, Glenda, you asked if I used Prips or my own recipe. So when it was the barrier flux, the citric acid, and the denatured alcohol, this is just a kind of a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'll fill up a portion with the boric acid, and then I'll double that with the denatured alcohol. So there should be kind of an even layer of both boric acid and the denatured alcohol. And then you just kind of give it a really good swish to kind of mix it up a little bit, dip your piece in, and then you can light that on fire.
What's that?
Now, what I'm also using is Prips. Now, you could use Prips also as a barrier flux, and a lot of people will do that. And to do that, you just warm up your piece a little bit, you get the Prips on there, and I find that if I'm going to use my Prips as a barrier flux, then it works really well if I do like a little spray bottle. The thing that's annoying about the spray bottle is if you get it and you forget to clean out the sprayer, then that flux dries and it crystallizes, and you just have to get a new spray bottle. You could try to get hot water through it, but it's really difficult.
Could you get the flux back?
Not that, well, I mean, you could get your flux out of the spray bottle for sure. So, my patience with the girls. You want to know what, you guys? I have to tell you that my patience with the girls has actually changed quite a bit doing these videos. I think this has been really good for our family to do these videos. Next question was, is Prips better than Aquaflux?
Does it make it so you can stay patient or you can't?
It makes it so I'm a lot more patient with you, especially. Isn't that a good thing? Yeah, that's a good thing. Is Prips better than Aquaflux? I like Prips better than Aquaflux. I started with Aquaflux and I used it probably for 10, 11, 12 years. And I've only recently made the change over to Prips, and I like Prips better. It stays longer and it seems to work a little bit better, especially if I'm trying to do that barrier flux method. Prips seems to be working better for me than the Aquaflux did. So yeah, I'm kind of liking it a lot. Okay, let's see. I think we need our other wire. What's that?
Like when we still have this, I want to pop them out.
You can pop it out. Okay. All right, did I miss any of the other questions? Glenda, you said you're getting the master switch by your studio door, which will turn everything off. That is wonderful. I kind of wish I had a master switch. When we bought this house because of this room that is now our studio. Okay, it doesn't look like it'll come out, will it? Okay. Anyway, so this is the reason we bought this house. But the room is meant to be kind of a family room, kitchen, dining areas, kind of like a mother-in-law type of suite. And it was already sheetrocked, it was mudded, and it had electrical pulled. Nothing was installed. But I also didn't have the opportunity to put anything in. Yes, I didn't have the opportunity to put anything in either. Hang on, I'm just gonna grab some wire here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab our 1.3 million. What is it with you in doing that? Good job. Okay, so we were talking, and remember I told you guys that I'm just as ADD as the girls. So we had a squirrel happen, and I never got a distraction. You're a squirrel. We were talking about what happens if the pickle gets left on, and sadly, I've done it several times, and it can ruin your pickle pot. It can be very dangerous. I've been very fortunate that it hasn't, but I have replaced a couple pickle pots. As you know, what happens is
pickle pots. So our pickle pots.
Hang on, I was talking though. Let me finish this thought. Otherwise, you're being a squirrel. So, what happens is your pickle will boil dry. We might not make it through today's video, guys, but your pickle will boil dry. And what happens with that then is that it creates this crusty film on your pickle pot. It smells terrible. You know, I remember like the first couple times. Now if I ever smell it, and even if it's not my pickle pot, like there'll be times where I still get that smell and I'm like, oh, did I leave the pickle on? And I run downstairs to see if I did. And I remember like the first time we did that here in the house, like for a day or so, I'm like, what is that smell? What is that smell? And it was the pickle pot boiled dry. So, but you want to be very careful because it can be very dangerous. It can start a fire if you've got a crock pot on that's, you know, that's running on empty. So it can be quite dangerous. So you want to be very cautious of that. What, baby?
Is a pickle pot like a crock pot?
It is.
You just put pickle stuff in?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So it's basically a crock pot, and then you put stuff in it, and then you call it a pickle pot.
Yep.
How many pickle pots do you want to?
Oh, let's see. In the last 15 years, I think I have gone through maybe 4 pickle pots. One, like, because it's an acid that, you know, it can eat away the lining of the ceramic in the pickle or in the crock pot itself. So eventually it'll kind of eat through that. So I remember one time I put pickle into my pickle pot, and before I knew it, like my whole countertop was covered in pickle. And I'm like, what in the world? And so it was because it kind of ate through
and made
the pickle pot.
You just needed a new one because it was old.
Yes. Yeah, I needed a new one because it was old. And then I boiled one dry that was not good.
What
and then the pickle, the acid. So yeah, so Wendy, a lot of people will put a timer on their pickle pots so that it won't run dry. It'll automatically turn off. And you know, I didn't have that. I still don't have that. And I have different ways. So now there is a sink over in my main soldering area. By the pickle pot. And there's a light. And so every time I turn on the pickle light or pickle pot, and I turn on the pickle pot, the light goes on. If that light is on, I know my pickle pot is on, or I know to at least check to make sure.
Because the lights weren't on and the pickle pot was on.
Yeah, that's true. I think I went over and I turned it on and I was trying to get everything all ready.
So, Mommy?
Yes.
So, if you turn on the pickle, or the pickle pot, does it turn on the lights too?
No, it does not. I have to do that. I have to do that. But that's the thing is that
it did do that.
It would be kind of cool, huh? And you know what? You could probably switch it. You could put a switch there that allows that to happen. Yeah, you could do that. You could put a switch there. So, but I just didn't. Okay, so what we're working on here, and I might have to pull this camera down a little bit because it's too awkward to try to do these swirls. I want to show you guys how I do my swirls, okay? And this can get... Well, I did, but it was kind of awkward because I was trying to do it up here on the bench. So when I do a swirl...
That would have been helpful to have had that camera.
My upper camera, yeah. So here's what I do. I get my beginning into here. I cannot feel my wire. Can you feel that? Run your finger on that. Can you feel the wire sticking out?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you push your finger down into it, you can. Let Kate try. Okay, so I want to get it right there at the very end of the wire. Okay, watch out.
When I drag my finger, I can feel it.
Yeah, you can a little bit. And at first, I'm going to start where I'm holding right up against this, okay? So I hold it right up against the pliers so that I start that curve nice and tight, just like so. Then I'm going to reposition here to the top of that swirl, but now I'm going to move my hand down further. Okay, by doing this, what do you think is going to happen, Kate? Am I going to end up with a tight swirl or a loose swirl? Like up here, you know, I pushed it right up against the nose of the pliers. But if I come down here, what's going to happen?
A loose swirl.
It's going to be a big swirl. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to guide this. Now notice that like my wrist is turned all the way now, right? I can't, that's not comfortable. So I'm going to release and I'm going to come back up here. And again, I'm going to come back in here. Now I can see that I'm getting off a little bit and I want to keep this nice and round. So what I do is I'm only using this kind of as a holder, but I don't want to squeeze tight. These are round nose pliers. If I squeeze tight, what's going to happen?
You gotta squish your wire.
It will squish my wire, and that's the last thing I want.
You don't want squishy wires.
Now, once I have this, now I can start to look at it. I'm going to switch to my flat nose pliers, and I'm going to start to make adjustments. And to make adjustments, a lot of times, I just come in and I grab like opposing sides, and I start to modify it that way. And then as I get into a larger area, I can put down my pliers, and now I can kind of guide that with my fingers.
There are pliers that have like little divots that would
allow you to do a swirl.
Allow the wire to just like have a little place so it wouldn't squish the wire at all.
Well, there are pliers that have like nylon jaws and everything like that, but I have found that those tend to be really slick. You know, they're very slippery. They don't work super well. So I haven't found those to be very good.
You just need some that have little divots that fit the wire perfectly.
So what should we do here? How should we put this in here? Should we put it down here at the bottom? Should we try to fit it up here into one of these, the heart bumps? Like we could do like this.
You could do it. You could do one like that, and have another one here.
No, I don't think we should do. I think we should have inside. I think we should have not another heart, but actually make it so that.
Maybe we could have it like down here.
Okay, all right, I kind of like down here too. And then what we can do is we can have some other elements that come in off of this one. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Or what if we do, okay, what if we do this way, like this? Okay, let's say that we start there. Let me get another one ready. So notice that I've left it really long, right? Because we don't know quite what we're going to do with this yet.
Like a lollipop.
And quite often, you guys, this is my process. Now, normally I would have this up against my bench pin. We need to get my bench pin over here. All right.
Bench pin over here.
All right, so let me get another swirl going here.
5 over there.
Here.
I did bring it over here. I know, I just didn't bring it in and set it up. So what I'm thinking is, what if we do something like this? Where we have kind of that type of a thing. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay, and we leave it kind of open because we are still going to be bringing these in here and placing them wherever inside of the heart as well, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, we could always come in and start to lay things out like this. All right, so now what should we put right here? Should we do another little swirl?
Sure.
Okay. I'm wondering, I think if we come off of this one and maybe there, maybe. Carrie, don't do it up because then it makes it so I can't get it onto the bench. All right, so this is kind of, more often than not, this is how my process goes. Like, I don't often have a design in mind that I'm going to do.
You make it up as you go.
I do make it up as I go. Sorry, you guys can't see this because I'm on the bench pin, but.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let's come up with
Hi,
our
Key.
next swirl.
Hi, Key.
All right. And let's see, maybe we come in. Modify that a little bit. What do you think about that? What do you think? You like that? Okay.
Could my birthstone
Okay.
be like
So,
here?
well, yeah, because what we
In one
can
of the
do.
swirls?
Sure. So we could put a birthstone right here,
Put my
and we
birthstone.
could do one right here. Hang on. I can't see what I'm doing, dude.
Oh,
Like we could put one there.
one
And
there.
no, I don't. I think that one's kind of full, but we could probably do one right here. What do you think about that?
What about in here?
Maybe no. What about there?
Yeah, like one right there.
Well, it gets a little too crowded right there if this one is here.
I think that it's good.
Ooh,
Okay, you like that?
Really dumb. And
can,
it's good.
All right, so some people have that they have,
be up here?
you know, they've got a timer. There's some that,
Can my birthstone be
hang
up
on,
here?
we'll see. We'll see where they go. All right, so let's see, we've got Glenda. Yeah, it really can eat through the ceramic. It can take a little while. And then I also had one that my pickle pot was just kind of odd to begin with. I think that there was something wrong with it. Okay, so I think we're good with these. Kate, do you want to go see what our piece looks like in the pickle right now that we've got this kind of designed? And once we get these all into the, once we get, oh good grief, now I can't think. Once we get these all into the heart, then we'll really put the placement of each of our stones. But it gives us an idea of what it's going to look like, right? So I think it'll be good. Okay.
My stone be up here or back
Yeah,
here?
we will pick the perfect place for your stone. Okay, I promise. Okay, so the next thing, oh, well, first of all, let me finish off the pickle pot. So some of you guys say that you guys have them all plugged into a power strip, so a bench light and the pickle pot, and that's great too. So yes, my youngest daughter's name is Kiari. It is definitely not one that rolls off of your tongue. Matter of fact, I remember when, so I had proposed the name Kiara. I had a student named Kiara and I loved her. And so I had proposed the name Kiara to my husband and he was like, yeah, I kind of like that. And he goes, but what do you think about Kiari? And I was like, well, I really like it, but I think she will hate us forever because nobody will ever say her name right or spell it right, huh? Because you get called Kiara all the time, huh? And that will happen your entire life. And you'll never ever find anything with your name written on it unless I make it for you.
Or unless you're like someone custom made.
Exactly.
Hey, Mommy,
Yes.
sometime could be.
Oh, the guys, this is going to be really pretty. Look at that.
Well,
Let's see. Let's move this over here.
It's definitely a
sometime
mommy
could
piece.
we go to could we go to a place that makes jewelry for you and ask them to make something that will have my name on it?
You
Like
wait. Let me get this right. You want to go to a place that makes jewelry
That
and have somebody make it for you. Where do you think you live?
You come here.
I know, but one of the
All you have to do is come down the hall. Your door, your bedroom is 2 doors that way.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I wanted to do was like have a locket with my name on it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know somebody that can do that. Good grief. You're such a dingbat.
Oh, but you said it was hard for you, so
Oh, good grief. Okay, I know you want to lock it. Who knows? Maybe if I start now, I'll have one done for you by Christmas. You think I can do that? I can get it done by Christmas. Okay, so let's look and see what our piece looks like. I think that this will actually turn out really nice. It's very simple. It's not too difficult, but I think we're on a good starting point here. So what I'm going to do now, before I trim these ends, I'm actually going to forge out some of these swirls. So let me move all of our little settings here. I like to forge out the swirls. It gives it a little different look, and if this is the front of my piece, I don't know, we'll have to see. That goes that way, so we said that this one, do we put this one this way? So if this one is going to be the top of my piece, I'm going to flip this over and hammer this other side. Do you have any idea why I would do that, Kate? Well, because on this side, we're going to have some hammer marks. Oh, I love the look of this.
Yes, it's all 15 gauge.
So, no, the outer, okay, so the outer is 1.6 millimeter, which is 14 gauge. The inner is 1.3 millimeters, which is 16 gauge. So good question. Now, do you see how, look at how that changes it. Do you see this, Kate? Can you see how we've got a thicker part there, and then it goes into this smaller, and this is where it especially is really nice if you hammer the ends of your swirls, because then it kind of goes into that nice little taper, and it's beautiful. So that's what I like to do. So I'm going to do that here on each of these a little bit. And it does change the geometry of your swirl. So I find that if I hold on to it, it helps it. And I'm also trying very, very hard to avoid hammering that little forged tip that I did before. Oh man, and I didn't turn this one over. So this one is going to have some hammer marks on it, and they'll kind of catch the light. You see those facets? So those kind of catch the light a little bit. But it's okay.
Why didn't you hammer the other side?
I forgot to turn it over, but I will on this one.
Why can you not turn it over after you already did it?
I probably could actually, but you know what? I can also sand it and polish those little facets out, and that will do it as well.
Wait, make sure to turn it over.
I did. Thank you. Okay. All right, so then like I said, you know, sometimes I have to kind of touch up their shape a little bit. All right, so let's lay this back out again, and then we will figure out where we need to cut things. Okay, and make sure that everything lays in here the way it needs to. See, things have opened up now because as you're forging, and now they're really, really, really stiff.
Does that mean they're hard?
It means it's very hard. So it's very, very hard to move. Yeah, the hammer marks can definitely be cool. So there's definitely, I don't mind hammer marks sometimes. All right, what do you girls think about this? Okay, and what I want to have happen here is I need to pay attention to where things touch. Okay, so I want this bottom swirl, I want it to touch multiple places down here. So we're going to have a lot of solder joins on this. This is going to be even more complex than our little dancing ladies. Okay.
What does that mean?
What, our dancing ladies?
Complex.
Complex? It means it's going to just be a little bit harder. So we only had 4 little joins, but in some of these, they're going to have 3 joins all of themselves. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark, where did it happen to our Sharpie? Okay, so I'm going to mark, I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to mark right here, because I want those 2 wires. You guys can't really see that. Let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see this better. So I'm going to mark here, and it's marked both. Now I'm stuck here. It's marked both of the wires so that I can kind of see where they're going to overlap. And I'll mark here that this is where this one is going to come in and touch. Then on this guy down here at the bottom, I'm going to mark here and I'll mark here. See that? And these two, like I said, this gets more complex, but you see how I'm doing this? So now I can kind of start to line things up when I'm done with that. Let's do him next. We'll leave him out of this equation for now because this is a lot. Okay, this right here is going to be a lot anyway. This might actually end up being the back of our piece. So what I'm going to do, now that I've got my registration points on here, I need to cut this.
Can I hit them with a torch once we solder?
You certainly can. I'm going to have you do some of the soldering on this.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark my wire right there because that is where I need to cut this. So I'll pull this out here. Now, Kiari, remember I've got a pinched edge and I have a flat edge on my cutter. Where do I need to cut?
Can I do it on one of the pieces?
Gordo, do I hallmark my jewelry? I am terrible at hallmarking my jewelry. I am. And in this case,
this side.
yes, I want to use the flat side to put it right here.
You can see it.
Right? Okay, clip down on that for me.
What's hallmarking?
What is hallmarking? That's a very, yeah, this is going to be harder. And it's a harder wire. There you go. Good job. So hallmarking is when you stamp in your name or something like that.
This has a double.
I do sometimes put my initials, but I don't have anything small enough for this.
See, double grip.
It does have a double
Well, it's
grippy.
obviously a piece that you would make, and you've got.
I do kind of have a style, don't I? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I can see up here that this is where this one is going to join and connect, right? So now I'm going to take this one out. Kiari, hand me the cutters, please. So we are going to, now I might also cut so that it's a little bit long. Now, whoa, what did you do wrong? What did you do that you should have done? What should have happened there? Now, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but she just took the cutters and clipped. Okay, but why is that not a good thing?
Because it could shoot in your eye.
You did not hold on to the wires. Exactly.
I was supposed to.
Oh, you totally, nope. How could I do it? You were grabbing them right out of my hand and you just went clip.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yes, I noticed. So you need to make sure you pay attention, right? Okay, so things are going to move just a little bit, and that's totally fine. So I think what we should do is get this soldered into place, and then we'll come back to do this part. But Gordo, that is a very good question. I need to be better about hallmarking my jewelry. In this case, where it's a little wire piece, it would actually be kind of difficult to hallmark that just because there's no place to put a hallmark. Although I know that there's a lot of people who will solder kind of like a little plate that has their logo or their name or something like that on it. And it's something that I've not taken the time or had the money to get a hallmark made, but I do need to do that. All right,
Yeah.
let's see. If the bottom is flat, it will solder better. Yes. So the commentary that's happening here in the chat is when we were talking about forging things. And yes, as we forge them, it's nice because it does give us a little flat spot and it will allow us to get things into place a little bit better and easier to solder for sure. So, Kate, what should we do with all of these pieces? Do you know?
Shucks.
So now if I here's something that's going to happen. Notice that this has kind of a purpley look to it. Do you know why it has a purpley look?
Because of the stuff you
Sharpie.
put in there.
It's from the Sharpie. Oh, look at that. We're on the wrong camera. Look at that. Again, it's because both of them have a similar view right now. But anyway, so this boric acid and denatured alcohol, I dipped some pieces that had some Sharpie on it, and the Sharpie will come off. So
Purple then.
it's just what the Sharpie does. Kind of weird, huh?
Ooh.
Yeah,
What color
so
is
it's kind
it
of weird.
supposed to be?
It's
Can I
normally
dip it in?
it's just normally clear. Yeah, if you want to dip it in.
clear to purple.
Yeah, it just kind of turns into that purpley color.
All of them?
Yes.
go
So what you're going to
this
do though, watch, let me show you what we're going to do. So we're going to just take it in here. You just kind of run it in there
I do it?
and then put it on the board.
Like this?
Yes, but your fingers are way too close to the bottom of the tweezers. You'll never get it in there now. You have to hold it, yep, all the way up there. There you go. Good job. Yep, make sure you get it all the way down into the boric acid. Good. Okay,
What
and now.
happens if it gets on you?
Oh, it's fine if it gets on you. It'll evaporate and you'll be fine. And then you can just wash your fingers off. So you're okay. All right. Now, another thing too, we do not have to actually light this on fire. You can let it dry on its own and it will still put that barrier on. Matter of fact, I think it's, I think Tom Muir is one that I learned this from. No, he's not related to us. I saw that question coming. But anyway, Tom Muir is an instructor or professor at Bowling Green University. And I think it was him that I saw, and he said that he will put the this barrier flux on, but he will not light it on fire. He just lets it dry.
Drying.
It is already drying. Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot. Okay.
It's in the powdered sugar phase.
So-
It's purple.
Kind of, isn't it?
Look,
now,
it's purple.
you weren't here before, but that's only a barrier flux, okay? That's not our regular flux. We still have to put our regular flux on. But we're only going to put our regular flux in areas where we're going to put our solder, okay? So,
Where?
what I want to show you is, and we don't even need a whole ton, but I'm just going to
Do you
put
want to use a little
right
brush?
here. No, it's
There
okay.
was a little
It's okay. But see how I'm only painting it in the areas
with Sharpie.
with the Sharpie, exactly where we are going to be putting our solder. Now, all of these, this is a lot of joins. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of joins. We may not get those all in there. Wendy, you're asking what material is this soldering board? And we actually talked about this soldering board a little bit during one of our other videos. And quite honestly, I do not know. I did some research and the only thing that I could find on it is that it was a non-asbestos soldering board. That was the only thing that I could find on that. And I looked for multiple sources.
Catch on fire?
This particular board, correct. This particular board is done with GRS. So
Is that the company that wasn't nice?
no, this is a company that's very nice.
With
I like.
Kurt?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, we like the companies that are nice.
Kurt
huh?
watch your videos?
I don't think so. I think Kurt is so busy right now, he hasn't had time.
If he
Now,
ever
in this
gets to
case, watch what I'm going to do.
videos, then hi.
Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of solder there, but I'm also going to put one over here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have one last piece of solder right here.
Joy.
It is a very big join. All right, and we're going to put one right. Oh, no. See if we can get him to. This one's kind of an awkward spot for one because it fell right there at the point. We'll just set it right there. How's that?
Uh-oh, you moved it.
Did I? It's okay.
Just a two.
Okay, everything is touching though, so I think we're good. All right, so Kiari, are you ready to do this one?
Should I make sure it has enough oil?
I already did. I put enough butane in there for sure. Okay, so
can get it
let's.
off.
Okay, so Kiari, what else do you need in your hand? There's a soldering pick over there on the board. It's got a wooden handle right there by the paintbrushes, the purple paintbrush. See that? Okay, what hand do we put our torch in?
Non-dominant.
The non-dominant hand.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to warm up our entire piece.
Oh, powdered sugar.
Powdered sugar, you're right. Powdered
I like
sugar.
it. I like to see it go kapoom.
Now, do you remember when we talked about solders? We talked about hard, medium, easy, extra easy. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what kind of solder we're using? We are using hard. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. Now I want to concentrate on this outer frame, okay? Because the outer frame is thicker and heavier than our inner piece.
Does thicker mean fatter?
It does. It's exactly what it means. And so these inner pieces are going to warm up much, much faster. So look, we're kind of at that maple syrup phase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what phase do we need to get to?
Clear and glassy.
That's right,
Except
clear
it
and
doesn't,
glassy.
like, it doesn't turn waxy or clear, it just goes back
It does
to
kind of. Now look, I want you to see. Hang on for just a second. See how this is starting to get red there on those tips? So that just means we need to be really careful with those because it means they're getting really hot. Okay.
Is it a good thing or a bad?
It's a bad thing because they turn red and then they melt.
Oh dear.
Yeah, oh
Get
dear.
away from that.
Well, no, I need to get the heat. So right now I'm concentrating the heat right here because I want this solder right here to flow. Okay, so we're gonna warm up the rest of this for a sec and we'll come back right here and concentrate here. I'm gonna warm it up over here and we'll come back and concentrate right here. Now see, I'm starting to see signs that that's wanting to melt. So we're just gonna be really careful right here. Come on, melt, 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 melt.
But you don't want it to.
No, okay, flow, flow, flow. That's what we want, huh? Kate, can they see what's going on this? On the screen? You can see it on the screen, okay? Okay. No?
Well, you
All right.
can.
All right. You know what? I don't know why that's not going. Hang on, I'm going to take this for just a second. I'm going to come in through. No, I'm just going to come in a different direction. Sometimes you just have to bring it into a different direction. Like we're definitely getting the inside piece. All right, come on. We might have to go to a bigger torch. I think what's happening is let's go to a bigger torch. Yeah, I think what's happening, do not touch anything, Kiari. Don't touch anything. Okay, and as long as I don't quench this or anything like that, Kate, go get me that big silver torch over there, please. Okay. All right, good. I'm glad that it's looking good for you guys. Welcome from Glasgow. So I think what's happening is we're having too much of our piece cool down, so it's not allowing things to flow. I cannot see, all I see is a light. Yes, that's the one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add just a little bit more flux to our piece. Okay, and I want to be really careful because this is very hot. Yep, it's very, very hot, so we want to be really careful. You're so funny, dude. Okay, so I'm just dropping it in here because I just want to make sure that we have enough flux in here still because things are starting to kind of oxidize a little bit.
It might go to clear, or it might go to kind of.
Oh no, wrong torch. There's another big one. There's another. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Kiari?
Isn't it that huge black one that we use?
Yes. Yeah, it's big, black, and silver.
Found it!
Good job. So at least they're getting used to, and these are things that come up. So at this point I would have expected that to flow. So it's the board. So we were using this power bolt. That's what that one was called, power bolt. And I think this one might be the max bolt. I don't remember now on this one. But this one's got a much, much bigger flame, but it also means we need to be very, very careful because this is fragile, it's silver and it's cooled off a lot right now, but
it did what my piece did. It kind of got black.
Oh, you guys get some buffering going on? We've got great quality here, so I don't know.
What's buffering?
It's where the quality of the video doesn't work very well. Okay, I need you to move. I'm about to light this torch. Okay, so see a much, much bigger flame on this one. So let's come back in. Yeah, that's for sure, huh? So much bigger flame. What I'm going to do, and this is going to, see how it covers the piece a little bit better?
Is it a good thing if it goes red and then the puppy thing pops
Like
up?
you're seeing that? Yeah, because remember when we were doing the balls on our pieces yesterday? And remember how we had that yellow tail? That's what you're seeing there that's bouncing off. Remember that yellow tail that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens, and it's
Okay,
kind of
hang on just a second. Let me concentrate on this just real quick. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pull my heat out here just a little bit. We should get ready here to flow. Come on. Oh, goodness. This is like a really tricky one today. Heat this whole piece back up again. See if maybe it's just pulling away too much heat is what's happening. And that's what happens when you're working on bigger pieces like this too. Ooh, that could get bad. All right, come on, solder. You know why it's not flowing, huh? because we're live on video.
Yep. Drop live stream.
I know, I could totally turn it off and then come back and it'll go just perfectly. Oh goodness. Wow, it's like super ornery, isn't it?
Cover the screen for like 5 seconds.
What's that?
Maybe we need medium or easy.
No, I don't want to go to medium or easy. Why do I not want to go to medium or easy? Ooh. Oh, there it went, and it just flowed right onto that wire. It did not solder. It didn't actually solder my piece. So what happened is my wire got too warm, but not the outer one. See that?
What happens if your pick gets too warm?
Oh, it's fine. This pick especially is fine because this pick is meant for high temperatures. Okay, come on.
What about as hot as the sun?
No.
I think it'd melt there.
Oh yeah, it would totally melt there. Everything would melt there, baby.
Yeah, I know. But you said it was meant for high temperature.
It is not that high though.
That's
Nothing's made for that high of temperature. Oh goodness. See, big pieces are always difficult. This is why I knew I should have stuck with that little circle idea that I had. I know.
You didn't tell us.
It's okay. No, it's totally fine. We will get it. It's okay. We will get this. Okay. Come on. Now the other part of this too is if I were using my acetylene torch, it would be flowed already because it's a little bit of a warmer torch.
Watch it cover the camera for like 5 seconds.
My acetylene torch, my other torch that's over at the soldering station.
You want me to get it?
No. But Kate, you know what I think I'm going to have you do? I want you to go get that little blue torch. What was that? Hurry, quick, go get the blue torch, hurry. Okay, we're gonna stop this again for just a second. So, this is something that happens is that we've got such a large piece that the piece is starting to cool down.
This torch?
That torch. So what's happening here is our piece is cooling down before the solder can flow in the one area.
It doesn't make sense. How could this one mount it first, then that one?
It's not going to. I'm going to have you move out of the way, and I'm going to have Kate bring in a little bit more heat. So Kate's torch, we are going to use 2 torches.
No, I know what sound was. I think I locked down my chair and I scooted it back.
Oh, could be. Yeah. So let me move our cameras to this one and let me zoom out just a little bit so you guys can kind of see how this is going to work. So you won't be able to see the solder float, but I want you guys to kind of see that sometimes this is just how my process has to be. So, Kate, do you know how to ignite this torch?
No.
Okay, this one's really simple. Okay, Kiara, I need you to be quiet for a minute. So you're going to turn this, and then you just push it to turn it on. Okay. To turn this one off, you just turn it. So on is that way, off is this way. Okay? And what I want you to do, I'm going to go ahead and do the soldering. Let's add a little bit more flux to this. I'm going to do the soldering, and you are going to... I'm gonna have to put the torch. Oh yeah, use the torch that I put on the can. So yeah, there's still one more torch that's a little bit bigger, and it would probably work as well. But I think we'll still go this route for just a minute here. So the good thing is, and this is how I know I don't have enough heat, I'm not oxidized yet.
What's that mean?
That means I'm not all black and crusty yet. See how this is all black and crusty right here? Yeah. That's oxidized. And I'm okay.
Do you want it or do you not want it?
I do not want it. If it oxidizes, my solder's not going to flow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have Kate bring, I want you to take your heat and I want you to kind of run your torch right here.
Okay.
Okay, you're not even really going to touch the piece.
Here.
You're just going to be here. I don't want you too close, but you're going to be here. And what's going to happen is you're going to keep this part here warm, because what's happening right now is I'm heating here, but this part is pulling the heat away.
Yeah.
So by you just keeping this warm right here on the board, it's going to keep this piece warm, and then these will flow with my torch.
This necklace doesn't
Okay.
like us.
Oh, it does. It's just giving us lots of good teaching opportunities.
Maybe
Okay.
it wants me to help with it.
So yeah, so just right there. Good, Kate. Now another thing that you can do to kind of help keep the temperature, here we go. See, this is starting to look better now. Another thing that you can do is you can use other little pieces of broken solder board or things like that that allow you to kind of lay on top of it and act as a heat sink or kind of a heat barrier. All right, come on. Kiari, what are you knocking over there?
It was the
Squeaky thing. Come on. Okay, so Kate, come a little bit closer. I need you to get up here as well. No, I can't. And right now I'm soldering, so I'm not even gonna look, dude. Thank you. Yes, it did. Here, let me light it for you. Okay, come up here a little bit. A squeegee baby thing. It's fine. We'll look at it in just a minute, honey. It's okay. We'll look at it in just a minute, sweetie. Okay. Good heavens, this piece. Here. So come all the way up here. Go ahead and bring it onto the piece. Just don't. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead and bring it onto the piece. Come up here more, please, because this is what's stealing my heat. Is all this up here. Good heavens. I cannot believe that this has not flowed yet. This is crazy. There we go. Finally. Oh, that's a lovely join there now. So now I'm going to come down here. Actually, I'll come up here. Okay, that one flowed. Lovely. That was a good one. So now I'm going to flow right here. Okay, Kate. It's okay. But our join up here did not flow now. We'll have to come back and address that. Okay, and things moved, so stop. So things moved because they got caught on my pick. So, Linda, your question is, what about soldering on charcoal? And maybe that's what we'll have to do. Hang on, baby, don't.
That's how you can tell it's really hot.
Yes, yeah. So hang on, I'm actually just gonna put this in here real quick. All right, go do me a favor. So things moved because what happened is it got caught onto my pick. And so now, even though we flowed our solder in one area, we're gonna have to change like how, I have to open up one of my swirls here. And sometimes this is just what happens, you know, so you kind of have to go with the flow on this. And like I said, this one's definitely a much more complex piece, and I knew it would be when we decided to do, especially the bigger heart. So
I thought we were gonna do a smaller heart.
you thought we were gonna do a smaller heart?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah, I don't know. So do me a favor, go put that in the pickle because we need to just kind of clear that off now. And you want to know, perhaps we cannot get this all done here on the live video, but at least you guys kind of see this is real. This is real. Like so many times, especially in my other videos, you know, I get to edit all of this out. Don't. Just leave the board alone, please. So I get to edit out all of this that didn't, you know, it didn't flow right. And I can just video in the part where it flows beautifully, right? But this is real. And so this is what we get to do. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that over there. I think, actually, and I using this particular, these glasses are driving me crazy. Using this particular soldering block is a little bit more difficult for me. It's a newer surface, so I don't really know how it all reacts very well. I usually use these white solder boards. These are called solderite boards. And maybe we'll just kind of, do not do that again, dude. So I use these white solderite boards, and I like these because it bounces the heat back up. And I don't know if this one is bouncing that heat back up quite as much. So quite honestly, I think I'm just gonna set this one on top of that, and this next go around, we'll try it on that one. So
Now it's double high.
yeah, and Sue Ellen, you're right. This is live, and I can't edit it. Darn it!
But
you know, I mean, I like to obviously look good all the time, but what's that?
We also have a recording.
We do have a recording. Yeah, so I could
would
go
it
back and
keep
edit
the live
this.
video, or after the live video, would it just disappear and you would have to do the
video.
No, it has the live video. The live video
So you
is what's
could
on
choose
YouTube.
either one, the live video or
Yeah,
the
so when we
recording?
first started and our internet was being all glitchy and weird, that's kind of what I did there. So,
It took forever, so we just like, nope.
yeah.
My stomach's
Actually, why don't you grab me the torch that fits onto the butane can, the one that has the little head. Okay, so grab the head and the can. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Learn more with the oops.
Yeah. Well, and you do. You
My
learn more
stomach
with the
is
mistakes and
growling.
stuff like that. Did you not eat lunch yet? That's
Nope.
silly. All right. Yeah, bring that one to me. And maybe we'll just try the bigger torch and we'll see what happens. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, we did not have a whole ton of oxidation on that, and that other, piece was not oxidized, and our pickle's warm now, right? Why don't you go see if it's done yet? Because that's a possibility. All right, so we're gonna pull out the big guy. This would be kind of similar to, I don't know, I can't really say it's similar to my
that a
acetylene
gas
tank.
tank?
Yes, it is. This is a
And you could
butane.
also use a gas or the head of a thing. Yeah, torch.
The head of a thing. So yeah, so this is butane. Okay, and this, I like these because you can just get these over at Walmart or in the camping section or whatever else. So Sue Ellen, I'm glad that you are liking it and you appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, this is how this often goes. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think of what to do here now because things moved a lot. Thank you, Kate. Things moved a lot. Let's see. So if I open up my little swirl here a bit, I think we'll still be in pretty good shape. Except now, so let me show you guys what's happened here.
Can I go grab something really
Yep,
quick?
go ahead.
I'm just gonna get one of those big bars.
The fig bar. Okay. So let me show you guys kind of what's happened. So when this caught, it moved my swirl here, okay, and it caught when this solder right here was flowing. So the solder here had flowed, but then it opened back up right here at this joint. Then our swirl moved. Now you can see that I have repositioned this swirl, so again we're touching. We definitely want to touch, but now I'm not touching over here. But I also don't want to just close it down to where we do, because then it's going to throw off the geometry of my swirl. So another option that I have is when I come in to bring this swirl, well, maybe not. I could, well, actually I could. I very, very easily could. I could bring this in, do something like such, and actually trim my wire up here so that way everything kind of fits a little bit better. And maybe, I think that might actually be the best option actually, is when we bring this swirl in, we'll just trim this guy away. So, and this is how a lot of times I will deal with this. So let me get this guy, we're gonna cut him, trim that guy out of there, and let's see, I'm gonna trim this at an angle so that it fits in here a little bit better. If I can get into that.
That's how weird it smells.
Yeah, that board has a different smell to it, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll open, well actually, why don't you go open up the door? Get a little bit more airflow in here. Okay, so now, oh, that's much, much better. And now it just looks like it's supposed to be that way. See that? I hope you guys can see that. But anyway, so let me trim this guy.
So much warmer than this morning.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's kind of what happens when the sun comes out. It's funny how that
Oh,
works.
it's freezing this morning.
Oh, that looks much, much better. And this guy still needs to be trimmed, but that solves that problem now. So there's usually a way out of it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to concentrate on getting my solder to flow down here and to get my solder to flow up here. And then we'll bring this piece in after that. So there we go. There's our process. So first thing I'm going to do is, again, notice how this is still pretty clean. So that's actually a really good thing. So what I'm going to do is dip this into our barrier flux. Okay. Glenda, I'm glad that I can show you how I kind of work through these things. And a lot of people would have. They would have been like, oh man, I stink at this and I'm not any good. But no, it's part of the process that nobody ever shows you. So I'm glad that we can at least go through this. So I'm now going to flux each of my joins. I'm going to come in here, flux here. I'm going to flux where I have joined all of my pieces because I'm okay if that flux or that solder flows again. Okay, so now we've got that.
That's the one good thing with live videos. Then you actually see what's actually happening.
Yeah.
With edited videos, it's like, oh, I did it perfectly.
Right.
That's it.
Well, I mean, you guys.
There's no trial and error. Just perfect first try.
I mean, and I am good. I am. I will say that. I've had a lot of experience.
But
that's
did
how.
Mistakes.
Oh yeah. But this is how I know to fix them because I've already done all of these mistakes.
You have made the mistakes.
But I mean, I remember too when I was learning. Yeah, and I remember when I was learning how frustrating it was, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh man, I'm crap. It doesn't work. Okay, so on this one, let's see, he's on. He's locked. Okay. So this one is a much, much bigger flame. I'm also on this other board. So I'm just going to come around and I'm going to warm this up. Now I need to be very, very cautious because this guy sits up a little bit. Okay, so I need to be very, very cautious so that I don't melt it. And that might happen too, and then we'll have to do another design change. I know, baby, hang on. Shh, don't distract me right yet. Okay, so there it kind of melted. Oh, there, and it flowed into our piece beautifully. I'm gonna move this so that my heat is directed a little differently. And now I'm gonna attempt to get this guy. Oh, lovely. There we go. That's much better. See how quick that went on that one? So I don't know, is it the change of the board? Was it because I had more heat? Shh, I don't know. But Kate, I do know that I need you to go put this back in the pickle, and it's only going to take just a second. Okay. So I didn't get a chance to see what that looked like on the screen, so I hope you guys saw what I saw, but it was very quick and it happened and it was beautiful. The seams went right how they should. So the next thing I'm going to do, once that comes back out of the pickle, we will take this little piece and we will put that back into it. Now, we also still have 7 tube settings to put into this. That in and of itself is going to be extremely difficult and tricky because not only is the interior of this piece wire, but our tube settings are each thin, and that means we've got a whole open framework, and that is very, very, very prone to melting. So at that point, I have to consider, do I still want to use hard solder, or is this a time when it would be appropriate to jump down? Okay, now if you jump down in your soldering, whether you go from hard to medium to easy, or let's say we go hard to easy, which is totally appropriate for some types of settings as well. You just need to make sure that that lower temperature is your final steps. Okay, I still have to consider what we're doing for a bail on this thing. Okay, am I going to hang it just on the heart itself? Am I going to put on a jump ring? You know, those are things that still need to be considered. And so I don't know that I want to jump already to like a medium or an easy if I don't have that into place, okay? And so once we get that done, or once we get that piece brought back, then we'll kind of look at it and see what we can do maybe for a bail. All right. Okay. So Linda, you said that you've done large bolos with the big butane torch. This guy is I have to choose a different word. This guy is awesome. I was going to say he's a bad A, but he is. He's a bad A. This is an awesome, awesome torch. There is a lot of heat to it. Yeah.
I almost dropped one.
Sometimes that's what it is.
I was going to give you one of these, then I remembered you can't eat them.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, so I really do like this guy. It comes in with a lot of power, a lot of heat, and it's great. So Sue Ellen, you said that you would go to easy. Okay, but Wendy, okay, so Wendy is saying that wouldn't be good, Sue Ellen, because then it would come undone when you do the rest of the joins. Not necessarily. Matter of fact, I know some extremely, if you guys have never heard of Sam Patania, you should look up Sam. Sam is like a 3rd or 4th generation jeweler down in Tucson. He does beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. And I remember one time I was down at his studio and watching him work, and he was coming in and he was soldering in, I don't know, probably 10 bezels all at the same time. He exclusively used easy solder. I was shocked. You know, so, and again, you got to remember too that when you have your solder and it flows, what happens? What happens to the solder when it flows? Do you remember?
It turns like...
What happens to its melting temperature?
It gets hot.
Yeah, okay, well the melting temperature...
It cools down.
Okay, yes. Well, the melting temperature of our solder will go up once it's flowed. So that means if I bring in another piece at that same hardness, so let's say I've got a hard solder and its melting temperature has now gone up to here, I bring in a new one, this solder right here is going to flow before this one does, because part of those binders flow or burn out. And that happens whether it's hard, medium, easy, or extra easy. So every time you introduce a new one, that new one should flow before this one here. What I would not ever do is have hard, 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 medium, hard. Okay, or an easy, because if you do that, definitely you're going to reflow at those lower levels. So yeah, it's all about your torch and your nearby joints. Perfect. So that's a really good discussion. Did you bring it over? Did you check it?
Yeah, it wasn't quite done.
Not quite done?
Almost done. But
almost. Go ahead and bring it. I'll bet enough of it's done. Okay. Because where I need to solder was a little bit easy. Oh, quit eating. You guys you're not supposed to have food in the studio.
Oh. I didn't know.
Yes, you did. How long have you been my kid?
Then why do we have candy in the studio?
Well, candy's one thing, but that's something totally different. Go on. Don't bring food into your studio.
I didn't know.
Whatever. You've been my kid for a long time. You should know by now. All right, Kate, you about ready with that? All right, she's just putting it into the neutralizer. Maybe. You having a hard time?
It's difficult. It wants to fall out.
looks like it might be done now.
Bobby, I'm glad that you're finding it helpful. Oh, you guys, this is going to be really pretty. Yeah, this is going to be really nice once we're done. Piece. It's definitely a mommy piece. Well, you know what? This is my style for sure. Okay, so let's bring this guy into here. I need to figure out where we need to cut it because I did cut this a little too long. So, actually, could I put, nope, I can't move him up. He needs to be cut. So let's trim ever so slightly right here and see if it fits now. Oh, perfect. That could not have been better. Okay, so what do I need to do first, Kate?
Flux.
Flux. Actually, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put that barrier flux on here again. Now, I want you guys to see this too. I think you guys can probably see it. There's a little bit of a solder blob here. There's a little bit of a solder blob there. Totally fine. We'll come back and we will take care of that afterwards. maybe before I put my little tube settings on there. Okay, now let's get him back into place. There we go. Okay. So now we've got our barrier flux on, and now this one's a little bit wet, so I'm going to light him on fire, and then we'll put on our flux. So you want to wait for this flame to go out because I still see a little bit of flame here. All right, and now the flame is out. So now I'm going to bring in my flow flux. So what was the first kind of flux, Kate?
Barrier flux.
A barrier flux. And a barrier flux does what?
Puts a barrier on it.
It does. It puts a barrier on it. You are very right. Okay, so the next thing, I should know better than to ask those questions, right? Goober. Okay, so now we'll get our solder put into place. And again, I just like them to be like right there where it touches both. So in this case, again, on this one, I'm going to put one on either side, just like that. Okay, now again, I still have like these wires here are kind of sitting up in the air. That makes them extremely prone to be, so actually, you want to know what, Wendy? What you're not seeing, you see this when I come to this camera. What you are not seeing, and as a matter of fact, Kiara just took my clip. What you're not seeing is that when I switch to the other camera, I do pull it back. So don't worry, don't freak out, because when I am doing the soldering, it is pulled back. You just aren't seeing that step of it because I switch the camera and then I pull it back. So no fear. Okay. What I'm going to do here is get this torch going again. And we'll come in on this. All right, and I want to be very gentle not to blow, bless you. I want to be gentle not to blow my solder out of place. Very gently coming in on here. All right, and solder is starting to flow and I need to be really careful, so I'm watching this really carefully. Woohoo! Everything flowed beautifully. I'm going to reflow a couple of these areas very gently. There we go. That was lovely. So everything flowed beautifully. So there we have that. Okay. Again, like I said, I promise it does go back. You guys just don't get to see that version of me often. Okay, so this is now done.
Yeah, I think I see it pretty often.
You see it often. Yeah, you see it all the time because it happens. Oh, you guys, I think this looks really, really good. So now we have our base. And now for the fun part, which is where we are going to solder in all those little tube settings.
No, I'm not over there.
I know you're not over there. Of course we know you're not over there. Okay, go put that back into the pickle. All right, so let's take a vote. First of all, this is a Mother's Day gift, so this has to be finished. I am going to finish this today. We are now at an hour and a half on this live video. So if you guys will, over here in the chat, please, let me know, do you want me to keep going or are you guys done? Because like I said, it's an hour and a half. That's a long time to sit here for this piece. So in the live chat, just tell me, yes, you want me to keep going or you guys are done, and I'll just go ahead and finish it up and I'll post some final photos of everything. But quite honestly, we probably still have, I would say, about an hour left because we still need to put in the tube settings and we need to set the stones. Yeah, so, okay, you guys are saying keep going. All right, it's your ride. I don't mind doing it, so, but it is long, it is long. How about you girls? Are you guys doing okay? You guys want to go up and work on stuff?
Kind of tired.
Are you kind of tired?
I'm not tired.
Tell you what,
Video. Just sleep.
why don't you go work on your math a little bit, and I will let you know when I'm ready to set the tubes, or the tube settings, the stones, and you can come help me place the stones where you want them.
Can I have a 5-minute jump break?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But you got to wait for just a second because I want you to get that out of the pickle for me.
Okay. And then can I have a 5-minute jump break?
Yes, and then you can have a 5-minute jump break.
Look at my finger.
All right, well, I appreciate you guys sticking around and still wanting to do it. So we'll go ahead and keep going. Because like I said, I am going to finish it. This is my task for the next little bit. Now, let's see. Who asked it? Barb, you asked, is this the only torch I use? No, matter of fact, if you've been here for the whole time, you will have seen that we started with this torch. And then we added this torch to this torch at the same time. And then I switched to this torch. And finally, I'm now doing this torch. So 4 torches. 4 torches here.
Light one, then you went to the
Okay, shh, I know.
Then you went to the light
Okay.
one, and then you went to the can one.
That's okay, but we still, yeah, there's 4 torches that I've used just on this piece. The one that finally got the job done was the big guy. Now, the other thing I do have over at my main soldering station, so this is just the filming station, but over at my main soldering station, I actually have an acetylene torch, I have a MAP gas torch, and sometimes here at this bench, I also have a propane and oxygen torch. So I have all said and done probably about 8-9 different torches here in the studio that I use. And just depending on what's happening with the job will determine which one I choose. Like as you guys just saw, as we went through this whole process, you know, things didn't quite go the way that I wanted them to. And so we had to kind of change it up. So Barb, yes, I do have tanks, like I said, and I do have the acetylene torch, and that one is an acetylene air torch. I don't use oxygen with that one, so it pulls in the oxygen from the atmosphere. The small propane torch that I have is just a little torch. But right now we had a bunch of earthquakes and I took all the tanks out. So right now this one is not hooked up. Otherwise I probably would have jumped to that one for some of these joins here. But so I do have tanks here. And matter of fact, it was kind of interesting too. When I post the recording, put it up as 2. Wendy, I actually do not have that ability because it's actually a live video. So if it was something that I was recording and editing, absolutely I would break that up into 2 videos. But where it's just a live video, unless I were to stop, I mean, I guess I could stop the video right now and then restart a new one. That's an option as well. Barb, I have it all. I've been at it for a little while. I do have quite a bit. One thing I wish that I had, and when I build my next house, because that's our next step, we will build a house. We'll build a smaller house with a larger studio, and what I would really like to do at that point in time is bring in a natural gas torch. That would be lovely, because then it's just plumbed, it's ready to go. That would be my next go on that one. Or post the time. Jenny, what do you mean on post the time? I don't know quite what you meant by that part. But yeah, all right, Kate, you want to check that now and see how we are?
I just checked and it wasn't done yet.
How not done is it? Okay, when I start the settings. Well, tell you what, how about we do this? If you guys want me to break this up into 2 videos, let me turn this off right now, and then I can set it up. I'll just name the next one, and then we'll just call it part 2, and it'll start a new video. Do you guys want me to do that? That's something, that's an option. Kim, you're never late to the party as long as you show up. So welcome to the party. So what do you guys think? Again, just there in the live chat, tell me, do you want me just to stop this video? We'll do a second part. Okay, yeah, we'll just do that. We'll do a second part. Natural gas is a cooler flame. Yes, and you would need to use it with oxygen, and that's exactly what I would do, is I would add the oxygen to it. I actually learned on natural gas and oxygen, and it was lovely. I really liked it a lot. Okay, okay, so let me stop this. And then give me a few minutes, because it takes a few minutes to get everything all set up. So I will sign off right here, 1 minute 38, or 1 minute 38 seconds. Wow, that was that was a really long 1 minute. 1 hour, 38 minutes.
Really long 1 minute.
So I will see you guys in just a moment.
Longest